received the Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Popular Republic of China, also at the Alcazar. This is the best proof, the best evidence of the interest that this country has for a city like Seville. Mr. Jing was born in April 1969. Master in law, and his professional career has focused on diplomatic issues representing the Popular Republic of China in different parts of the world. He has occupied different positions at the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, the Director General of Asia, the Director General of Latin America, Director General of the Caribbean or Permanent Missions of China in the International Organization of the United Nations. In 2015, he was appointed ambassador in Afghanistan and then Pakistan. And after being in the government of the province of Weibo, past September, he comes here to Spain. He was appointed extraordinary plenipotentiary or ambassador of the Republic of China in the Kingdom of Spain and Principality of Andorra, arriving here with his wife, with whom they have one child. He also arrives to our country at a very important time, coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Spain. And from day one, he already showed how ready he was to work to implement important consensus agreements and to push forward bilateral agreements. Since then, his work has proven to us that he is true to his word. And like I said before, he has shown us that with this city, and very, very special interest, and for me as mayor of the city of Seville, it's a great pleasure to receive you again in this city. It's been a great honor to be able to introduce you at this forum. I am also absolutely convinced that during your presentation we are going to hear about new possibilities for growth between our countries and at this magnificent city, unique in the world, which is Seville. Thank you, sir.
Señor embajador, la tribuna es suya.
Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor of Sevilla, Mr. Sanz. And also, thank you, Honorable President of the New Economic Forum. My problem is that I could not speak Spanish. So please allow me to speak English. Thank you for the providing of these simultaneous translation facilities. Let me start with thanks. Thank the Mayor for your kind presence. Thanks, Mr. President, for your kind organization. Thanks all the friends and all the audience present at this morning's breakfast. And also, of course, thank the local hotel for your facilities and to make this event possible. I'm very excited that standing in this hotel Afonso 13 because I think this is my third time in this very beautiful city, Seville. Today I'll come along because I think that I have several engagements in Seville, but only for one day stay here. I just learned today this morning I would have this interaction with all the dignitaries, all the friends of the local city. And the second, I will be joining a ceremony of the inauguration of Confucius Institute in the Grand University of Seville, to be followed by a business-to-business discussion with the Business Chamber of Seville. And I'm happy that along with me, the major members of the Confederation of the Chinese Companies in Spain have joined us, and we would like to have some kind of discussion about cooperation. First, please allow me to say a few words about Andalusia and Seville. I think the mayor was very kind that mentioned that We had several discussions about the city, about the region, Andalusia. But for me, and also I believe for most of the Chinese businessmen, Chinese tourists, Seville, I think, is the major destinations. You mentioned the destinations of the Chinese tourists, destinations of the Chinese investors, destinations of the Chinese business communities. I think that Seville is not only a city, it is a symbol. It is a symbol of, I think it is a symbol of the history, because hundreds of years ago, it was the center of the global trade. It is the symbol of the globalization, I think, started with the great Spanish people. Seville is also, I should say, is also a legend, because 2 months ago when I first came to Seville, I was so amazed that with the mixture of the cultures, the mixture of the different histories, and also that the current ground heritage from a ground history. So I think that not only Seville, but all the other cities in Andalusia, like Cordova, Granada, all represents a kind of symbol and a legend. And this kind of mixture of the architecture, of culture, as well as the histories, give us a very brand new understanding of this city, of this region, of these people. So please accept my respect, and also please accept my admiration for this piece of land, for the people living on this land. I'm from China. Definitely I have to talk a little about China, because I represent China. But I come here, I think that with an very open heart. For example, that when I was discussing that possible cooperations with the Honorable Mayor of Seville, I think almost 2 or 3 months ago, that I was very amazed and by his enthusiasm of collaboration, of interaction with China. China and Spain, we may be quite far away, but I think that our hearts are close. Especially when I stand here, I think that I can feel a very close distance or a very close intimation between the two sides. For China, I think that for the past 45 years, we mainly focused our old energies, all the resources in the development of the economy of the country. You know, China is large, is big, and China was quite backward or lagged behind all this. It's not like Spain. You are very advanced economy, and you have quite advanced and developed the economy here. So for the past 45 years, China focused on the economic development. Our development basically benefited from our opening and reform. By opening up, it means China has to grow. China has to develop along with the world, along with the global market, along with the global community. China has to reform, because in the previous period, on the old history of China, China was locked by ourselves, that we would like to see our own piece of land, and we would like to live within our own limited resources. So by opening up and by reform for the past 40 years, we had achieved economic growth. The people in China could benefit from the betterment or the growth of the economy. Of course, for the previous period, we had this pandemic, we had the global financial crisis, we also had different difficulties. But right now, I think all these difficulties have been to some extent managed, and we are lucky that come to a normal period or normal time. For the last year, that China achieved, I think, 52% of the growth of our national economy, and the total economy reaches to about 18 trillion US dollars. It is quite big, and right now we are quite confident that China will open itself in a bigger way to the world. China has to be connected with the world. China has to cooperate with the world, Spain included, Europe included, the global community is, I should say, is a blessing for China's future development. So China is very firm in opening up. We will have to open our own markets to all the business communities, to all the companies, and also what China would offer or whatever available in China, that for your collaboration, for your development of the economy. So that is why all the ambassadors abroad from China, we are asked that to connect the people, to connect the society, to connect the business community. And I believe our Chinese business representatives in Spain, they have the same missions. They also have the same tasks. Then come to the Spain, since I have been in Spain for half a year, and I thank all the friends which I have met or which I haven't met, who I haven't met. But I think wherever I go, whatever friends I meet, that one of the major topics is always economic cooperation and the cultural exchanges. So I think that the consensus is there, that we would like to take each other as a partner. This partner is for a better tomorrow, for a better prosperity of our respective economies. For example, like Andalusia, like this Sevilla. According to my understanding, Andalusia is a connecting area, connecting part of the sea and the land. When you are located in the south of Europe, in the south of Spain, so maybe some of the businessmen, some of the Chinese business communities, they will think that this Andalusia, Sevilla, you have the sunshine, you have seawater, you have the wind. So naturally, I should say, it's a base for new energy. Because in the future, the energy comes from the sun, comes from the seawater, comes from the wind. And you could be a Jing for the future supply of energy. And I think that the Spanish government has already, I think, focused on the new energy development strategy. And half of your electricity right now comes from the renewable resources. Andalusia, I should say that it is a vast land. On the train coming from Madrid to Sevilla, I see a lot of, I should say, solar panels and this electricity. So I think that you have the best facilities, the best infrastructure that for the future development of industries based on new energy. And as far as new energy is concerned, I think that China can and is ready to find opportunities. And we have a whole chain of the industries. We do have some capability of manufacturing, but I think what's right now, for example, we have the leading industry in technology, including like solar panels, like these electric vehicles. I think all this industry based on new economy could be an opportunity for the business community in Sevilla, in Andalusia, that to have further discussion about on cooperation. Sevilla and also Andalusia, I should say also is a connecting part from the past to the future. In the past, you are the engine for the global development. In the future, you could be again that for the main center of the supplier of the global, or not only global, but also for the European countries' energy or industry. In the past, you have ground history, and also you have this current heritage. And I believe, according to the mayor's design, that you are developing that the called Tourism Innovation Summit to be held later this year. You have these very, very rich resources for tourism, but you have also very strong willingness to innovate. So by combining this heritage and innovation, this exactly you are connecting the past and connect with the future. So in this regard, the Chinese companies, Chinese tourists, they would like to be a facility, would be a supporter, would be, I think, a participants of this transition from past to the future, from the greatness to another greatness. So I think this is what I want to present. And I assure all the dignitaries, all the participants, that the Chinese government, the Chinese embassy here, the Chinese companies, the Chinese community in your city, we are all in the same position that would like to promote the cooperation between Andalusia and Sevilla with China, to promote this friendship and cooperation between Spain and China, and also to promote this kind of cooperation between Europe and China. Finally, that China would like to contribute to your development, to your future. And we would like to invite you also facilitate China's growth, facilitate China's development to a better tomorrow and a better future. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You're traveling these days in Andalusia with different Chinese business people who are interested in investing in the region. So which are the aims of this trip? Who are accompanying you and which are their aims? And which industries or sectors are these business people most interested in? You're accompanied by an executive Air China. Could it be possible that in the future there will be a direct flight between China and one of the two largest airports of Andalusia, whether it is Seville or Malaga?
I think, fortunately, I have the CEO of the Chinese National Airlines here. I think that because, in fact, all the routes are possible. I think you have already increased flights between China and Spain. But I think with the increase of the tourist and the business activities in Andalusia, and like Sevilla, Granada, Cordova, Malaga, and other cities, we definitely would like to, in fact, to encourage the direct air flights. And I believe that there are some other airlines considering that open a new flights. Let me check, and I will come back to the mayor. Yeah, one thing is that I can share with you the good phenomenon. That is the increase of the Chinese tourists to Spain. And if any Chinese tourist comes to Spain, I think Sevilla, Cordova, or Granada, they must include this in their journey. So I will push for that and will check. Definitely, the facilities will be provided soon. So.
Embajador, La Unión Europea tiene
The European Union has a trade balance deficit of 400,000 million euros, of which a substantial part corresponds to Spain. The coverage rate is only 16%. During the visit that in February past, the Minister of Foreign Affairs from China carried out in Spain, Mr. Wang Yi, the Spanish president of the government told him how necessary it was to reduce this imbalance, because it is very important, because for each euro exports we import 7 euros from China. So how can we correct this imbalance, Mr. Ambassador? How can we reduce market barriers? How can we sell products in China without necessarily having to produce them there, whether you're doing it with a European or Spanish company?
I think, thank you. I think this is a question everywhere I go, I have to address. Yeah, and I think that this kind of imbalance between China and Spain, between China and Europe, which I think even we don't like to see that. The trade should be healthy, and I think it should be a win-win kind of mechanism. It should be a kind of, I should say, it's a mutually beneficial arrangement for trade. But unfortunately, that between China and Europe, we had a huge surplus. Between China and Spain, we do also have the same surplus. But this is not the situation we would like to see. And this is the situation we would like to address it. We have to, for example, first, between China and Spain, we have to increase the import from Spain. So that is why we encourage that the Chinese importers, Chinese companies, to explore the commodities, which I think, which is welcome in the Chinese market. Traditionally, we import a lot of ham, wines, and olive oils, but we would like to export or import more from your market. So I think in February, when our foreign minister was in Spain, we say we will restart import of your beef. And right now, we are also discussing with your Ministry of Agriculture. We would like to remove all the possible barriers of Spanish products to China. Second is that the Chinese policies encourage and also welcome more imports. For example, every year, like also in this year, every year the Chinese government will host we call it International Import Expo every year in November. So we will have already invited all these possible exporters of Spain to join this expo. Second, for example, that we have encouraged a lot of business-to-business connection. Even today, I have taken, but I don't think that the Chinese companies today, they will buy something, but they should be connected with the local companies. Thirdly, that we are going to have the 29th Economic Joint Committee meeting between the two commercial ministers, your Minister of Trade. Our Minister of Trade is traveling to Spain in next month, and we want to regularize and also to streamline our trade relations, that to coordinate what kind of policies we should adopt and to facilitate. The President of Government of Spain, Mr. Sanchez, was very keen that to expand and to enlarge our volume of the trade. And from the Chinese government, from our side, we are ready to that. But one thing, that this kind of trade maybe takes time to be balanced. But what we would like to improve our economic relations is by investment. So we would like to also encourage that Spanish companies to invest in China. And also, we would like to also encourage Chinese companies to invest in Spain. By this kind of closer share of technology, of financial arrangements, of products, I think that our economic relations could be more strong, could be more healthy. So this is what we are doing to have a better and mutually beneficial economic cooperation.
Muchas gracias, señor embajador. ¿En qué situación
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. In which situation are direct investment projects in China, in Spain today? What status are they? And particularly the fact that Al Jazeera's will become a great center for Chinese products, apart from the investments that you've also carried out in the ports of Valencia and Bilbao. What can you say about the Al Jazeera's port? Thank you.
Thank you. That is another part of the economic cooperation regarding the investment. And I think that is the key because this could encourage that more exchanges, more cooperation between the two business communities of the two countries. Regarding the mutual investment, first of all, I should say a little history. For example, in 1980s, about 40 years ago, we were very grateful that a lot of Spanish companies, mostly they are machinery companies, automobile companies, consultancy companies, even law firms. You invested a lot in China. That is during China just was opened up. Then China was, I should say, starting to connect the world. So even now, that still there are quite large number of the Spanish investors, Spanish companies operating in China. And I think we benefit, our economy benefits from this kind of investment. But after 45 years that run China, of course, we still benefit from the foreign investments. And there's still a large number of investment comes to China even today. But on the contrary, on the reverse way, that right now there are several areas for the Chinese companies. They have a little, I should say, advanced or good technologies, and they would like to share this productivity with Spain. So, for example, as I said, the new energy sector, this is the main investment area for the Chinese companies. We have the Three Gorges. They have already invested a lot in the solar and the wind. This is the major investment. We have the investment also from our other like solar panel companies and also from new energy sector. Second, the forthcoming investment will be in the electric vehicle sector. You know that China right now has produced 60% of the global electric vehicles. And we would like to shift this productivity, manufacturing to other countries and trying to improve, trying to benefit of this cooperation. So the next stage that these electric vehicles, along with these batteries, will be the major area of investment. Second area for the investment is that for also based on we call them green and digital industries. We have this very advanced technology companies. They would like to explore their collaboration for the we call the digital industries, AI-related areas. And in this regard, the Chinese government and the Chinese companies are in close contacts with the Spanish companies, with the Spanish government. For example, between China and Spain, we have a regular consultation that which sector we should encourage, which sector that we should have more involvement of these technology companies or whatever companies. I think there is one thing that is a little worrisome. Although that China, we would like to be open. Spain, definitely you are open, very open to the world, to the China. But there are some kind of, I should say, practice, some kind of propaganda that, okay, that China is a risk, is a risk of your security, it could be a potential threat to your future, to your stability, to your national security. But I would like to say that I think every country, every leader of the business leader, I think you are the best judge that how you can manage your own business. If you see a threat, definitely I don't think you will accept this kind of investment. But if you don't see a threat, if you see or you take it as an opportunity, I think that you have the best say. You have the last judgment for this kind of cooperation. So here, I would like to appeal also for a kind of culture of industry, a culture of entrepreneurship. Let's do business and also judge on the business. I don't think that China would like to destroy the world. I don't think China would like to threat all the global community. China, we paid a lot of efforts to improve our own life in a very short period. We still had a very poor or not, very bad memory about our past. When I was young, I could only have 2 meals a day because my family could not afford the third meal. I cannot even that, could not pay, sometimes pay the tuition fees for the junior school for that. So my parents had to work very hard. So we had a very short period of this economic growth. And during this short period, of course, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to improve. But we know how that our past was, how poor it was for the past, and how necessary for the China now that to come up with the global growth, with the global betterment of the people. Thank you.
No hemos pasado todavía por Argentina.
We haven't talked about Algeciras. What strategic aims does the Zenzi have after purchasing the bus plant at El Trocadero in Puerto Real? CHG will use the Airbus company to produce carbon fiber components for wind generators with 300 workers who are mostly Chinese. So what can you tell us about that?
So it's about wind.
Yes, the windmills. Yes, the windmill generators. Yes, exactly. And the components, and what is the role of ZHG there in the Airbus plant in El Trocadero?
This, frankly speaking, I don't know this project, but I know that maybe it is in Andalusia.
Sí, eso es.
It is in Andalusia.
Indeed, yes, indeed, it's in Andalusia, in Cadiz, Algeciras.
Cadiz, okay, that's in the southmost. Yeah, sorry that I don't know so far that regarding this specific project windmill ZT. It's from the ZTE. But I would like to just share a general feeling about this windmill and solar panel also. Windmill and the solar panel is the major, actually, trading item between China and Spain because you did a lot for the renewable energy and you achieved a lot. But right now, this kind of trade, because all the materials, basically, you purchased from China and you installed in Spain. This is not, I think, we have to share that the technology. We have to share that this productivity with. So in fact, right now, from this embassy, from the Chinese government, we are encouraging the manufacturers of the windmills or with the solar panels to come to Spain and to find the local partners and to establish joint ventures and to jointly provide the sustainable supply and the more, I should say, economy or the more green supply of the materials or of the infrastructures. But regarding the specific project, I have to check what is the progress or what is the problem of that. So.
Is our future Chinese investment being affected by the fact that Spain is not involved in President Xi Jinping's Star Initiative, Belt and Road Cooperation, the huge project for infrastructures that China developed to promote trade and connectivity between Asia, Europe, and Africa?
Yes, I think first let me say a few words about Belt and Road Initiative. It started from 2013, but it is basically, I should say, it's a concept. The concept is focused on the developing areas, like the China's Asian countries, like Central Asia, Middle East, Africa, even Latin America. The Belt and Road means that the Chinese companies, the Chinese government would collaborate with the developing countries when they are short of finance, short of the technology, short of this business activities. Then the Chinese companies will provide finance, investment, or technology, or business opportunities to build necessary infrastructure. But for the developed countries, like European countries, I think that this Belt and Road Initiative basically is for, is a concept for cooperation, for mutually beneficial cooperation. Although that China and Spain, we don't have this regular agreement or something, MOUs on that. But the de facto cooperation, that this kind of conception really works between China and Spain. For example, we have a train, I think several trains, many trains between China and Spain, between Yiwu, Zhejiang province, and to Madrid. I think it is a long train. And this kind of train or train cargo for trade is a part of the Belt and Road Initiative. For example, so many Chinese companies, so many Chinese businessmen, they come to Spain to find the local partners and the cooperation to invest, to trade, and to cooperate. It's a part of the Belt and Road Initiative, because we would like to increase the state-to-state relations with economic activities, with more investment. For example, a lot of tourists coming to Spain, coming to Sevilla, coming to Andalusia. This is a part of a Belt and Road Initiative, because this initiative also includes the people-to-people contacts, that to increase more exchanges of cultural activities. So I think that either we have this kind of agreement or we don't have this agreement, but we do have this cooperation. And in this regard, we will continue to carry forward this cooperation in economy, in culture, as well as in other fields. Thank you.
From the Theo University, Fernando the Third, you're being asked, how can we increase relations between Spanish universities, particularly Andalusian universities, and Chinese universities?
And I think that right now Spain is a major destination for Chinese students. According to our understanding right now, currently, about we have 15,000 Chinese students studying in different universities. Even in the University of Sevilla, we have more than 300 students studying here and benefiting from your education. Education cooperation is very important, especially when that the education is for the youth, for the future, for the young people. So this is an investment for the future. So first of all, let me thank all the universities in Spain for your hosting so many Chinese students, Chinese young guys and young girls to learn, to improve, and to develop in your campuses. In China, we have several ways. First, we encourage university-to-university cooperation and in this regard, basically we focused on first, exchange of students, second, exchange of programs, thirdly, exchange of the researchers, that the institutions. Students, I have said that we have a lot, and the number is increasing to come to Spain. Regarding the exchange of the programs, we are expanding. Last night, I had a very good chat with the vice president of the Sevilla University, and we have started some new projects between Sevilla University and Chinese universities. Regarding the exchange institutions, I think my education counselor is here, and because Andalusia, you have a very good and outstanding universities here, so we would like to increase the institution-to-institution cooperation. So far, for example, in Andalusia, we have 2 Confucius Institutes, one in Sevilla, second in Granada. We have a big Confucius class in Sevilla, so I appreciate the government of Andalusia. I appreciate the mayor, as well as appreciate the university professors for your kind support. And in fact, it is, we would like to also, of course, invite more Spanish, but I think that still we have to, I think Spanish universities are more attractive than Chinese universities. So in this regard, in fact, we benefit more from your universities. Thank you.
Juan
Carlos Crespo from the Chinese chair is saying whether there's interest in investing in combining Chinese traditional medicine with current regenerative medicine to create health tourism at Doñana Park, one of the most beautiful parts of the country.
Oh, this we call it therapy park. Or this, I think this is a new, I don't know, but I haven't studied this kind of industry in Spain. But I know it is very popular in other parts of the world, like China, India, Sri Lanka, and Southeast Asia. That is a combination of hotel facilities with therapy, and also basically is for the, maybe for the aged or for the ill people. They stay over there, they get the therapy. But I don't know. In Spain, you also have this kind of facilities. The Chinese traditional medicine, or that we call the Asian traditional medicine, because many Asian countries have these traditional therapies. Basically, it's for the chronic illness. When you had a kind of, for example, cancer or something very bad sickness, then they trying to give you a good facility. So they build some kind of park, some kind of hotels, some kind of facilitation or recreation centers for the aged and the deities. But I don't know, frankly, that there is a park also in Spain, or you are developing this. These are part of our, I should say, it's a potential area of cooperation by providing all the service, all the facilitations of therapies, of medicines, or of this kind of cares for that. And a lot of Chinese companies, they are running this kind of business, as far as I know, in China. But let me check about this park and what we can do to facilitate this cooperation.
Alberto
San Román, spokesperson of the Commission of Agriculture from the Andalusian regional government, says that Andalusia and Seville are powers of the agri-food business of first level cereal, boiled fruits, and rice. Is the Chinese government interested in the agri-food business and food production industries in Andalusia?
Yes, in fact, agriculture, because it's a vast land, a lot of, I should say, orchards for the oranges, for the olive trees I have witnessed. And Andalusia is so famous for its agricultural production, and this agriculture definitely is a major area of our collaboration between China and Spain. For example, most of the China's imports are agricultural products, either the meat or the fruits or wine or winery, whatever is agriculture. Second, that China and Spain, between China and Spain, that the agricultural area is one of our focus of our future cooperation. For example, that your agriculture minister has invited our agriculture minister to come here, and we will join you an exhibition called Fruit Attraction in Madrid later this year as a chief guest. So we would like to explore more these kind of opportunities of cooperation in agriculture sector. There's two areas of our potential cooperation according to my understanding. First is that we would like to have a kind of cooperation for them on the growth of the olive trees. Because China, of course, western part of China is short of water. We don't have a lot of rain every year. So that this piece of land, because I have found that a very successful plantation of the olive trees in China, but we would like to explore more cooperation on this technology and also this. Second is that to increase more varieties, more fruits, more agricultural products to import for China. We would like to purchase more, for example, very good oranges here, not only Andalusia, but also in Valencia, in some places. We would like to purchase more, I think, your cherries, pears, all these kind of facilitation have been finished between the two governments. So the Chinese market is right now open for also pomegranates. So this is the second, is the purchase of the fruit products by the Chinese side, and to increase the export from Spain to China. And the third one that I think we can explore the possible cooperation is the processing, the value-added processing, and to export to the third market or the third countries, so that this could be a potential areas. And on the agriculture sector, we do have a lot to do. And so far, in my mind, is these three areas. Thank you.
Señor embajador.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. China is the second world power and is also part of the Security Council of United Nations. Many observers are talking about neutrality that's pro-Russian when they talk about China and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So what do you think that could be done to stop this war, which is on its second year? And what would you say to those who think that China could play a very important role in Putin's decisions? Francisco Rodriguez is also asking you whether China is worried about the appearance of other conflicts worldwide, like the one in the Gaza Strip, the Sahel, Iran, Afghanistan, the countries that you know really, really well because you were there on a diplomatic mission. Do you see, Your Excellency, that in the short or mid-term, the proposal of the Foreign Minister of China, who came to Spain stating that Cordoba could be the headquarters and seat of a peace conference?
Yes, I think this is my fundamental job of international relations. Thank you for the question. I think that right now the world is unfortunate. A lot of wars, a lot of conflicts, a lot of sufferings. Yeah. For China, for Spain, you mentioned our foreign minister was in Cordoba in February. Sorry, in February. Majorly, they were talking about two issues. the war in Ukraine and also the conflict in Middle East. And I can share with you that the two foreign ministers, Chinese foreign minister and the Spanish foreign minister, more or less they have the similar understanding. For example, the war should not continue. We should find for either front, Ukraine front, Middle East front, or Gaza trip, that we all should have a kind of ceasefire, whatever ceasefire, that the conflict should be stopped through a second. There are a lot of different reasons for this kind of conflict: Ukraine, Russia, Israel, and Palestinian. Different reasons. Okay, these different reasons or different backgrounds. The second consensus is that peace talks, that only by negotiations you try to find a solution. Do not fight. Do not take the military actions. This is the second consensus. And thirdly, that the global order, the global transition, for example, the global transportation, the global supply of energy, of grain, of whatever facilities or utilities should not be disturbed, So all the members of the international community, should work together to have a proper supply of the global commodities, or that other parts of the world could also suffer because of the war. So these are several consensus. And for China, definitely, we don't want to see the war. We would like to see a ceasefire. We want to have a peaceful negotiation. And I think this is the general positions. And we understand for Spain, for European countries, you have your concern from the Ukraine front. You have the concerns from that. So I think for us, we definitely work for the peace, work for the ceasefire, work for a global proper order in the neighborhood. China definitely is doing our own share of the responsibility, But China, let's say that China should stop Russia. I don't think that China, of course you mentioned China is the second global power, but frankly speaking, I doubt it. China has a lot, but China is contributing this kind of ceasefire, this kind of stop of the war in our own way. For example, we advocate for the UN charters. International norms should be respected. We also advocate for that the territorial integrity and the national sovereignty of any country should be respected. We also advocate for that all the countries, their own security concerns should be addressed, should be understood, and should be solved through the peaceful means. So these are several things. And come to the areas which I served in the past, like in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, that area has a totally different scenarios, because over there, the major challenge is the non-state actors, is the terrorists, right? And this international terrorism, I think, had posed a great threat to the peace and order of the world, of the international community. Over there, we believe that we need more development. Over there, they need more attention from the international community. They should have been more focused by European countries, American countries, by the Asian countries, and by international community to look at the key of the development, or the so-called the background of the instability over there. So I think that right now the world is full of challenges. The challenges from the regular wars, from the non-regular or non-traditional threats. And for China, among all this, we have always the same advocation that peace is the most important purpose and these negotiations and talks can help. Military actions won't help. Thank you.
Señor embajador, durante su visita...
Mr. Ambassador, during your visit to China in March 2023, President Sanchez asked Xi Jinping to speed up the more than 25 adoption cases that are pending for Spanish families. Some of them are Andalusian. Have any developments taken place to this regard so that these children that have been adopted can come to Spain? Could you give us some message of hope to those families, Spanish families waiting for these children?
I thank that for your consistent concern about the adoption, because Spain or Spanish friends, Spanish families, you were very kind to adopt the Chinese poor boys and girls, and they will have good development opportunities in Spain, and this has been continued for quite a long, many years. But for these remaining cases around, we call 19 cases or 20 cases around them, they were in fact affected by this pandemic. When the match was done, I think maybe 2019 or 2018, but suddenly that they could not follow up this matching and take adoption procedures. So I'm sorry that right now all these cases haven't been finalized. But both sides are working hard, because the children, they become kids. They become, sometimes they are young guys. So sometimes their ideas or their emotions, they change a lot. So we have to do some kind of communication, convincing, persuasion, that trying to finalize according to the wills of the Spanish family and these to be adopted kids. So I assure you, sir, and whoever care about that, we will take a responsible way in addressing their well-being. Definitely we will find a suitable and good solution for all the pending cases. Thank you.
And there is one last question. Could you give us figures about the Chinese community in Spain, and particularly Andalusia? Which are the demands and aspirations Chinese citizens tell you about, and Chinese businesses tell you in Spain? Do they have any demands? Do they have any particular concerns?
Okay. This is exactly, I should say, some kind of the problems between China and Pakistan. Just now, I said a lot of beautiful words between the future opportunities, the bright futures. But China and Spain, of course, we don't have a big problem. We have a lot of problem. But I should say, this some kind of problems comes from out of Spain, out of Europe. This comes from a global environment, or a kind of global competition, a global maneuvering of the future situations. So the Chinese companies, they were affected, and they can face some of the problems. I won't say that in Spain we have a lot of big problems, but I would like to say that, for example, between China and the EU, the European Union, we have some problems. For example, we understand, China fully understands that the EU has a policy of the economic resilience, of economic security, of de-risk some kind of policies. But we would like to see that this kind of economic resilience, economic security, is it proper for the European countries? Is it a proper therapy for your future development? What we hope and we don't want to see is that this de-risk is equal to China. China is the risk, and the risk only. That is a little worrisome for us. because I think all the business leaders, both from China and from Spain, from the European countries, as I said, that you are the best, you are the final judge. So we don't want to see that this de-risk is a de-China process. Second, we still have a lot of sanctions, restrictions, and policies against China, and China in particular. This, I think, for example, you say you don't want to have some kind of materials purely based on China, based on the supply of China, right? And say that then we should have some kind of limitations of what we would like to see, that because Europe, EU, is a symbol of multilateralism. In fact, you make a lot of unprecedented rules to facilitate international trade, international cooperation. So you would like to see an EU which is still in favor of international rules, in favor of market forces. So the problem is not between China and Spain. I think sometimes the problem is between China and the EU. So we would like to see that EU's policy could be based on fair and also based on, I should say, market rules. Then I think there should be no problems.
Señor embajador, le voy a dar a usted un último turno.
Ambassador, I'm going to give you some time for conclusions, but please allow me to give the microphone to Mr. Gregorio Medina, who is the head of ASISA in Andalusia. Thanks to this health insurance company, we are able to organize this forum, Europa Tribuna Andalusia. Good morning. I would like to thank all the people who have attended this meeting, and most particularly I would like to thank the Mayor of Seville, who has very well tried to take Seville to China so the Chinese can see us and forge relations with us. ASISA, that is sponsoring this event, who has chosen the city council, been chosen by the city of Seville for the health insurance. And I would like to tell Mr. Ambassador that if he wishes for Spanish health care, and private companies like ASISA in healthcare could go to your country and tell you how we work there, for example, in gynecology, traumatology, and all the medical specialities that we have, that are many, and which we are well known worldwide for this, to be able to come to China as well and to show you our wealth of knowledge and bring back with you whatever you can also teach us. Thank you ever so much for everything you have tried to convey to us, everything you've tried to tell us about China, and to bring together Seville, Andalusia, and the Chinese. Thank you.
Hello, just a few words about the kind request. In fact, that, as I said, the trade between China and Spain, that is quite in favor of China. We don't want to, so we want to buy more. Buy more, I have to find more commodities. And exactly the medical sector is the area. In fact, sir, you are the first business leader in medical areas I met in Spain. So I would like to seek your, I should say, advice. If you are willing to cooperate with the Chinese companies, if you are willing to export medicines or medical equipment to China, I will personally facilitate that. Because first, you have more advanced products, you have more advanced technology, and that definitely the Chinese market is very big, and we have definitely is in need of this trade in the medical side. Second, I think that right now that China is open its, I should say, remove its barriers. Previously, the medical sector was quite protected in China because we have this social system and something like that. So right now, we are removing all these medical sectors barriers for the medical products, including equipment and medicines. So you are most welcome. So after this forum, I would like to personally establish contact with you and your company, and I will personally facilitate possible cooperation between Chinese medical companies and with your company, if you allow. Thank you.